Good evening and salutations, my YNR fans. I gotta sit there and say, just off the bat, that YNR has definitely been killing it this week. Um, when I first started watching YNR, it was it was definitely different. It took me a while to really get into it. There's a lot of times I just didn't really understand what people saw in the show. When I came in there, I was watching it. This is when you had a different national lock. And one of the only things that used to sit there and really excite me was every time that Victor called Billy Billy Boy. But I gotta sit there and say right off the bat, this week has just been killing it. So whatever Josh is Smith there doing it, please keep it up. Now, in some ways, you could almost sit there and argue that this should have just been called the Sharon Newman story, with some other people involved. Don't get me wrong, everyone else did their thing, but this was definitely the highlight of this episode. Um, Cameron just comes across as creepy and stalkerish and just everything that you want in a villain, you're gonna get. Turns out later on that he actually made a hole through Noah's Club or whatever, and this is how he was able to get in and out. I'm gonna be honest. You tell me that no one actually saw a hole, a giant ass hole outside. I don't. You know what? Whatever. Screw it. So Sharon's Cynthia trying to do her therapist thing. Now I'm not gonna lie. There's one part in this episode where Cameron's like, "You need to sit there and leave. You need to come with me," instead of Cynthia being the essentially the coffee therapist. Okay. Always sit there listening to people's problems and unresolved issues and stuff like that. You can do better. And I felt like I laughed so much just because sometimes I sit there and watch old clips where she actually had a story. This time she actually has a story. And what was she doing before Cameron Kirk came in? Being a coffee therapist. So when he said that, it was generally hilarious. Anyway, I guess Sharon saying there's really no way out. She's like, listen, I'll go with you. Fine, whatever. Um, Seeing how everyone is pretty much gone. You got Nick, the cops, security, they're all gone. Somehow, Nick just happens to walk casually back downstairs, and those two go at it. They go at it. And you see, this is the part where I'm just not there looking at Sharon like, what the hell are you doing? Let my guy Nick take care of business. You keep jumping in the middle of the fight. Oh no, don't do it. Stop. Now you want to get Nick knocked on the damn floor. Him running away. And I'm like, he got away because of you, right? Like, you are aware of that. Like, you literally got in the way, got him hurt, and now my dude is gone. Good job, Sharon. Good job. Okay, so let's talk about the Nate and Victoria stuff. Now, up until this point, it's pretty boring. They're just talking about business stuff. Um, Nothing really exciting. I don't understand how they feel like they talk about this business stuff and going after Adam and the company and stuff like that. It's going to be exciting to anyone. It's just beyond me. Anyway, they're talking, and here we go. Miss Petty Princess herself, Elena Dawson, shows up. Now, she just came back from a workout. She could have done anything with her time. What did she decide to do? Act like a 12-year-old angry, hurt high school chick and decide to come, bother them. Bother Victoria and Nate. And she's sitting there talking about how, well, y'all two deserve each other, and, I was a fool for sitting there, I've been loving you. And I'm like, yeah, Elena, you were a fool for sitting there loving him. What's your point? It's called live and learn. You in a lot of ways, you act like you didn't know who this man was. This is the same dude that was going to literally betray his family for money and power. And yet you decide to go out with him after that. I'm sorry, bro, but are we actually going to sit there and start taking a little bit of responsibility for your actions and your choices and this whole mess of you quote unquote loving him? And if we're gonna sit there and be honest for a minute, you love the guy who he used to be. You loved the guy who he was. You loved who he was, not who he became. And in a lot of ways, that's on you. Now, don't get me wrong. Nate cheating was definitely not okay. But if you notice this scene, you notice something. There's a saying: hurt people, right? So she started hurling insults at Victoria, and Victoria just kind of sat there and she's like, you know what? Listen, you're hurt, you're angry. I get it. You know, like it's not so much directed at me. You're just hurt and angry, and you feel you need to sit there and lash out. So fine. Um, and I sat there and I was like, listen, okay, so here's my whole thing. I know that there's a lot of people that do not like Victoria, right? And when I first started watching the show, I literally called her the Ice Princess. That title hasn't went away. So I understand why people isn't there, giving this whole clap and this whole, oh, Elena, you show her, yeah, you really go at her. It's pretty much like if any person went at Victoria, they're gonna sit there and start clapping like there's no tomorrow, right? That's just how it is with Victoria. So I can understand why people sit there looking at Elena like, oh, you really won, and I was so happy that you did that to Victoria. Because let's put it this way: if any Joe Schmo went off, came off the streets and started going at Victoria, people would sit there and start clapping like there's no tomorrow. But I sat there and I looked at Victoria. I was like, bro, you going a little bit too easy on this chick, okay? You are. This chick could have literally went anywhere in the world and she decided to come at you and you are practically using kid gloves on this chick. And I'm going to be honest, I don't think you should. I honestly tell you the truth, I wanted to sit there and see the real vicious Victoria really come out and go at her. Okay? It's like yesterday when you had Diane using kid gloves on Summer's little bratty ass. Nah, screw that. Come at her full force. We're not sitting there playing these games, okay? You're not gonna sit there and just be disrespected and just take it like that. That's no, absolutely not. 100% no. Um, so she said what she said, and then she walked off. And I'm just like, okay, whatever. Go back to your hotel and continue to be mad and sad or whatever the hell it is that's going on with you. Don't get me wrong, cheating isn't right, and I'm not for it, but your little petty ass attitude does not make me feel bad for her whatsoever. And, Nate was upset. Nate was like, listen, you shouldn't be sitting there taking that. And they both was like, well, hopefully she'll find somebody um, that she can fully be with. I'm like, that's true. Find somebody that you're going to sit there and love. And you're going to love them at every point in their life, at every point of their life. Not just who they were back then, not just the first 2 years. I mean, the person that you actually are with at that present moment. Now you got that going on. Sally is exhausting. So I don't understand what those two actually see in Sally. It's just beyond me. But she starts freaking out. She wants to know what's going on with Nick. She wants to sit there and leave. She's throwing a temper tantrum. And finally Adam is like, listen, fine. After being on the phone talking about Connor and, all that stuff that's going on with him, he decides to take Sally out to dinner. They have a nice chill discussion. They even sit there and talk about baby names and, having Adam's mother name either in the, beginning of the name or the middle of the name. Everything's going all peachy fine. Then she starts having this sharp pain. She wants to go into the hospital, and Lena's there to sit there and, start to treat her. But yeah, that chick is just exhausting. I don't know what these men actually see in her. So you got Billy, Chelsea, they're talking about Connor and being withdrawn. Hell, Chelsea was even sitting there talking to Adam about trying to get him some therapy. So yeah. And then Connor comes downstairs, and at first he is being his usual moody self, which is just like, ah, here we go again. But then he does actually course correct, and he does apologize to um, Chelsea. He apologizes to Billy. He also apologized to Johnny. He was like, yo, listen, tell Johnny I apologize. I just, I'm in a better place now, and I'm coming to terms with me having a baby sister, which is like, okay, fine, good. I will sit there and say this much. It takes a lot for even an adult to apologize and be humble and start to own up for your actions and understand what you're doing and why you're doing it. So I was actually pretty impressed with him. Then Chelsea was like, hey, maybe we should sit there and do therapy. And Connor was like, nope, I'm good. He was like, nope. Gave her a hug, went upstairs, and that was that. And Chelsea was like, yeah, this is even bad. This is even worse than I thought. Now, when it comes to a therapy, you actually have to want to sit there and like therapy is only as good as you are going to receive it. And if Connor is going to be there, not say anything, kind of hang out in the corner, whatever, um, it's going to be a long road. It's going to be a long road. So it's one of those things where it's like I feel like I mean, granted, I feel like at some point I don't want to sit there and say everyone needs it, but it's definitely a tool that helps. But there's really no correct answer because I don't want to sit there and be like, well, I think he should go to therapy if he doesn't want to go to therapy and then the therapy doesn't work and it could just make things worse. But if Connor continues to sit there and act out, then at that point, they're not going to really have a choice but to take him to therapy. So it's a gamble. It is a gamble. Yeah, I actually skipped the page. I'll use this page for maybe B&B. Anyway, I feel like that's pretty much about it. I can't really think of anything so wound up happening. So, as always, what I'll sit there and say is, if I missed anything, come to the live stream. Love to sit there and talk about the stuff that went on today. I gotta sit there and say, listen, I didn't watch the other soap operas, but if GH isn't like up to par today, and I didn't see the rest of one, all I'm saying, why not? It has to be the best soap opera today. Might be the best soap opera of the day, which is I don't know what to say about that. If you want, if you could share this video, that does actually help. Go on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, share it. It really does help. And if you're not a member, hit the join button. It's going to get crazy. Saturday, we're gonna have a members live stream. And although I love the regular live streams, the members one is always a treat. It's always a treat. So definitely come. Anyway, with that being said, I'm gonna go. I want to thank you for watching. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video.